talking, guys. We've got Plotter Ghost today to help us cast some sets from Alchemy League Season 10. Welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Tech Chariot. We are streaming this live on YouTube, but Plotter is actually also live on his own Twitch channel. So make sure that you guys are on your best behavior, because I know you're all used to screwing around on my channel, but we don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of Plotter's Twitch audience. All right, so Plotter Ghost, we'll talk about him a little bit. He is I think it's safe to say he's a custom map enthusiast. He likes to play on the custom maps. He is an administrator for the practice squad, and he is also the webmaster for the Alchemy AoE community. So he's helped us out a lot in the past, and every once in a while, Plotter actually likes to do something fun with us instead of programming. And today he's going to help us co-cast some games from Alchemy League Season 10, which is an open map contest. Oh, and what else do I know about Plotter? I've known Plotter for a long time. Plotter Ghost and I go all the way back to the King of Ireland tournament, if you guys can believe that, back in 2021. And he is from the Netherlands. So without further ado, welcome, Plotter Ghost.
Thank you, thank you. That's quite the introduction there. And
Yeah.
I cannot believe that it's been like since 2001 that we know each other.
2021.
Oh yeah, 2021.
In 2001, I was a 10-year-old kid running around. All right. So we are looking right now at the Season 10 webpage, which Plotter Ghost designed. You guys can see that's the standard layout. We've got our handbook with kind of like all of our major like season specific details in it, and we've got this standard here with our general rules for handbooks. We've got the map procurement standards down here at the bottom, and we got map procurement method down here at the bottom. Our map contest was described in PSRM 001, and then we got all these little icons for how we do different things, like how we do seeding, how we do handicap calculation. We're not going to really get into that because this isn't a technical stream, but I just want to show you guys these resources in case you came here to watch your next opponent or something like that, and you're wondering where you can find the handbook or any of that other stuff. It's over here. We have a real rough spark notes of the competition, and we got here listed the maps per round. Some of these maps are listed more than once because their map creator won the contest or won a higher slot in the contest, and so they had the privilege of showing their map off twice, and they got to choose the different slots. I've already selected the seeding tab here. Plotter Ghost designed all of this. It's really cool. And we're lucky enough we actually have a 2.6K player who signed up for Alchemy League this time.
Wow.
But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to cast him today because we've only got 2 sets this sprint, and we've already casted him in one, and he's got to play his other one still. So we're going to show you guys Plush Werewolf versus Adja Omar. So these two right here. So we're talking about upper 1300s, lower 1400s for these two players, and then we're going to show you Nope 1585, upper 1400s versus Superhero 55, who's about mid 1500s or so. So in the first set, we're going to see Plush Werewolf from the United States. So it's going to be United States versus Mexico, I believe is where Adja Omar is from. And then Nope versus Superhero is going to be India versus Pakistan. So all of you cricket fans can get all hyped up over an Age of Empires contest between these familiar rivals. Let's see, what else do I have to add here? We could click on this, like if I weren't sure about Adja Omar or I wanted to see what his recent performance was, we can click on it and it'll forward me over to his AoE2.gg profile where we can kind of check him out, see what he's been doing lately, see if he's been ALO tanking or something like that. Not that he would. Not that anybody in Alchemy League would. It's a pretty high-trust society. But it is sort of nice to be able to see what people have been doing, see what their favorite civs are, that sort of thing. And Plotter built that in.
Yeah, I think just having the link there to your opponent, having something quick to reference before your set, definitely at least helps me in my preparation. So I don't have to look at like multiple sources. I can just go to the website and just just have that as like my source of truth.
Mm-hmm. And we have some numbers here on our main screen, but they correspond to how the tournament placed these players, how the tournament seeded these players. So, for example, for Ezio here, it's saying that Ezio is 97.66% tournament fraction. So that means that based on the number of plays or the number of games that Ezio's been playing in the ranked map pool, as well as the number of games that he's been playing within the tournament, we're going to say that whatever ELO we calculate for him based on the opponents he beat the last sprint of Alchemy League that he played in, that's going to account for 98% of his final ELO. So that's why this number is so much closer to 1367, which is 0.9, which is his tournament ELO. So it's a good quick reference here, but to actually see what somebody's been doing most recently going up and down, because these are fundamentally all a snapshot, then it's really great to be able to click on their name and follow through and find their profile on the website.
Yeah.
So Adja Omar and Plush Werewolf, the way that the map draft works for all situations, for all players, is they have to play the map of the round first, and then they take turns discarding maps until only one map remains, or until no maps remain, really. And then they play any additional games on maps in the reverse order of the discard. So if they're going to play 2 games, then they play the last map that was discarded. If they're going to play 3, then they play the last map and the second to last map that were both discarded. So we're going to see Adja Omar and Plush Werewolf play at least Conflagration and Kubu. And then for Superhero and Nope, we're going to see them play at least Crater of Doom and Emigration, which should be fun. And I try to choose the sets so that we don't have any overlap in the maps. We get to show you 4 unique maps every single time. The final thing that we're going to talk about before jumping into the games, or before letting Plotter Ghost chime in and then jumping into the games, is the way that the Civilization draft works is that we've got 16 random admin bans to start, and then they each globally ban 4 civilizations, and then they pick 3, snipe 1, hidden and in parallel, and then pick 3 more. So the idea is that you don't have the same 4 civs in every set of Alchemy League, because there's a good chance of your favorite civ getting banned in that initial volley. So, Plotter, do you want to talk about anything about the drafts before we get into casting the first game between these Adja Omar and Plush Werewolf?
I think that the amount of admin bans that are present in the current season, they really force you to come up with more global strats and not Civ-specific strats. For example, let's say I want to do like Persian, fast castle, war elephants, because there's just so much food and gold that is relatively safe. And that strat seems really strong on a map, that the chance that I can actually execute that because of the admin bans is very low. But it forces you to also be a bit more creative with what could work on some maps, I think.
Yeah, the number of times that I've gotten complaints about a map where like this new civ is too strong on this map, and I'm like, this map is older than that civ. Like, I didn't know that the devs would release that civ when I designed this map, and we kind of given up. You know, we cannot make the map balanced for every single civilization. So the solution, I guess, is just lots of bans and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's jump into the game. So I'm here on Conflagration at 3 seconds. Let me switch overlays real quick. All right, and I'm ready to go whenever you are.
I am at 3 seconds as well.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
So, Plotter, we got Plush Werewolf playing as the Green Jerchins. He's at approximately, I'd say 5 o'clock. And then we've got Adja Omar at around 11 o'clock playing as the Red Chinese. So all that I know is that this is a Chinese civil war. I think, but I don't know much more about it than that. Can you help me understand what's these civ choices between these players? You can use the map if you want. I mean, I haven't really
Yeah.
introduced the map yet. It is Conflagration by Welcome to Rapture.
Yeah, I think the Chinese civilization in general is very strong. We can see Aja Omar already up one ville, already has loom, so technically, in terms of that timing, up 2 villagers. Has 31 seconds of idle TC time, but that is quite standard with the Chinese. And what you want with the Chinese is just get that early eco lead, work on some good eco setup, and then from there your techs are also cheaper, so you should be able to overpower your opponent with better techs, at least early on. As for the Jurgens, they also have quite a good eco tech, not in terms of extra villagers, but their hunted animals and livestock doesn't decay. So the sheep here, for example, under the Plush Werewolf TC, it doesn't decay. All the rest that you see trickling down, that is actually the villagers collecting it. Whereas if, for example, this sheep would have been left alone and no villagers would be on it, it would slowly decay for any other civ but the Jurgens. So they will get more food from the same amount of animals, and it is actually quite substantial, like the amount of food that you can get with that. Especially with the amount of hunt on the sides. I think for Plush Werewolf, like the closest deer patch that I see is on the left side, like in the left corner. If you were to push that, that would be a huge eco boost, not just because of the deers in general, but because of the not decaying food there as well. And then later on, you can always like expand towards the other corners and get even more food that way. But that is about the extent of the Jurgens food bonus there. I don't think on this map there is a lot of other eco bonuses they can reasonably get.
So the Jurchens are the first civilization in history to develop refrigeration technology, keeping their boar meat and their sheep meat fresh. I wonder what the historical basis for it is. Maybe they had like a good salt preservation method or something like that.
I'm not sure if it's based on like even something historical, if it's just a bonus that the devs came up with. I think at this point it is so many civs, and you also kind of need to balance anything. Like all these civs needs to be balanced in at least some way. And I don't really see Jurgens as the one. Like I think they're like in mainland China, right? So they don't really, I think, have access to a lot of ice. So refrigeration, at least as far as I know early on, was done with huge blocks of ice. But I could be wrong on that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they live on the Tibetan plateau, and so they're closer to the mountains. I'm not really exactly sure, but I have actually heard that the Jurchens, because their meat does not decay, that they are unlameable. Have you ever lamed the Jurchens? Maybe that's the basis of a good Yo Mama joke.
No, the Jurgens cannot lame, essentially. They are lameable. If you shoot their hunt, it will still decay. The hunt that the Jurgens shoot, that doesn't decay. So, for example, if Plush Werewolf would have sent a villager forward, walled it in next to the boar from Aja Omar, then the boar would just stay there until the food is being taken, because that does not decay.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. I'd heard about it the other way around. Like if you're playing Jurchens, you just bring in both of your boars at minute 0 and kill them, and then bring in all of your sheep and kill them, so it's all just dead meat underneath your town center. And then that way your opponent can't lure it away from you. Not even the Celts can come in and steal your sheep.
Yeah, that is a very... that's also a way to do it. I think especially on maps with a lot of hunt, that is something that you would see a bit more regular. I think on these maps where the amount of food is relatively standard, you don't really see it that much, because it's also just a force of habit to just have like 1 or 2 animals under your TC, but not a lot more than that.
Now, have you ever seen like in a team game, a Jurchen player send a villager to an enemy's town center and kill all their meat for them?
No, I have not seen that, but I would not be surprised. I think, especially on maps where you can place your own TC and like nomad starts, that is something that could be more viable. But on a lot of maps, I think the as we have Plush Werewolf's scout running next to Omar's TC, but gets away safely.
Yeah, Edge Omar didn't even react to it. They both did it at the same time too, which is sort of funny. Maybe they were busy microing their scout away, too busy to microing the scout away to garrison their town center and shoot any arrows. It looks like they're both doing a scouts build. Plush Werewolf up a little bit later than Edge Omar.
Well, we have a villager versus scout fight, but villager runs away. Oh, there is a weak Vil. Vil could die here.
The weak Vil came in to help out. All right, but at least the scout went down. Oof.
The weak Vil going down feels kind of bad, especially since it feels like that the scout was just on stand ground.
Mm-hmm. Meaning she could have disengaged at any time. And here comes Edge Omar with another scout. That's not good. Fortunately for Plush Werewolf, he has a spearman nearby. The spearman does take the scout out. But yeah, trading a scout for a villager is a good trade. Depending on when the trade occurs in-game, but usually it's a good trade. Now, yes. I think one of the defining characteristics for this map is that it is tricky to wall. You do get fruit bushes inside of a pocket of trees. It's like a hidden bounty of fruit. But it's kind of difficult to tell where the gaps are in the wall. So you could very easily find that there are scouts on your berries. Plush Werewolf has slated this area for wall off, but the scout is going to get here first. Weak villager just runs right by him.
Like you said, there is still a hole, and I did not spot that there was a hole there. I thought that it was fully walled. But on the right side where the villager is walling, it will be walled relatively soon. But Plush Werewolf is returning the favor and killing a villager from Aja Omar.
Oh, yeah.
And will he get another one? Will he get another one? He runs away because there is a spear. That is good micro there.
He denied that house. Let's see, is Aja Omar housed now? He is.
Yes.
Aja Omar is housed because Plush Werewolf interfered with his ability to build that house, which is unfortunate for Aja Omar.
Idle TC time is almost at 3 minutes now for Aja Omar, which is quite the difference there. Plush Werewolf currently at 122. But scouts find the spear. One scout goes down.
Some free hits.
Scouts disengage, and another spear, another hit. And I don't think these scouts will find a lot more value, actually.
Now, one of the things to point out, Plotter, is that this shrine in the center, this pagan shrine, gives 10 population space. So it could be that Aja Omar came over here to capture this shrine so that he would no longer be population capped. As you say that,
I did notice that Plush Werewolf was housed for a little bit there when Aja Omar took it. But Scout's number look pretty good for Plush Werewolf here, especially when he kills one more Scout there. Looks like Aja Omar is just playing spear defense. It's adding in a few more scouts, but I don't think he will find too much more value there. And Plush Werewolf is already on gold, so might be thinking about that Castle Age transition. And no one on gold yet for the Chinese.
Now, Plush is having a good build, it looks like, so far. Probably a better feudal age. Oh, he's slipped around to the left, but Aja Omar has a couple of spears here. No, it's not going to get
Does
the
get off
villager.
one hit, but runs away. Doesn't get hit by the spear, so that is nice. Just slowly but surely ticking away at those villager health. Spear and scout engage near the houses at the bottom, but scout disengages, and the shrine is once again for Plush Werewolf. Nothing in the middle for Aja Omar.
If these guys were 1800, we would see them dropping ranges and making skirmishers most likely. But I think they're kind of content just to take map control and play a little bit safer. And
Yeah, I
possibly
think
go up to Castle Age and into Knights.
at the lower levels, just having one unit and just playing with that is so much more effective than trying to mix in the second type of unit and try to manage two unit types, micro them accordingly. And especially with the number of scouts that Plush Werewolf is currently on, like one or two spears can still be fought off reasonably well. But as I say that, Plush Werewolf, it's up to the Castle Age, and Aja Omar is investing in more scout upgrades. Already has the first armor, it's getting the attack as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I think Aja Omar needs to go to Plush Werewolf's base as soon as possible to make that worthwhile. He could win if these upgrades get in before he takes the fight. Let's check and see. He has the armor, and Plush did not get any armor. So Aja Omar got both the armor and the attack for these scouts.
Yes.
Which means that they will kill a villager in one fewer hit. Ooh, and it looks like Aja Omar is going to find Plush Werewolf's stone mining operation.
Well,
Should be a really
yes,
good
he
find
will.
for him.
He engages. Although Plush Werewolf reacts immediately and no villagers down so far. Not the greatest fight for these scouts. Villagers choose to join into the fight, but Aja Omar here wins the scout fight. Lots of weak scouts, but also lots of weak vills.
Yeah.
And the spear is showing up, but I think it's a bit too late. Another vill goes down.
Yeah, that might have been a game-winning play for Aja Omar right there. Had he not hit that, let's say that Aja Omar had swept to the right instead where Plush was completely walled, it could be a different game. Plush might have small-walled the villagers in with the stone, and then there would have been no reason to take the fight with his own scouts. But as it stands, he lost all of his scouts, and he lost 3, maybe 4 stone miners in that attack. And Aja Omar lost his scouts as well at the end, but I think it was worth it for him.
Yes, total eco KD is 4-1 in favor of Aja Omar. Rest collected, though, is relatively even with only 300 difference in favor of the Chinese player. And I think that the rest collected will get even more in favor here, even though the Chinese are up to Castle Age and not producing villagers. I think those villagers that were killed will balance out the going up to Castle Age time quite nicely there. And no extra TCs for Plush Werewolf, so he's playing all in 1 TC for now.
Mm-hmm. I like that decision. I think Aja Omar has this forward gold and 3 forward stables that you could punish with a forward siege workshop or maybe a forward castle. I mean, Aja Omar does have a back gold, but he's not taking it as much. He's got 4 spearmen defending it back there too. I think that's the right play. He's behind.
With the step lancers, I think the step lancers, once there is big enough numbers, they can quite easily engage against spears because of the extra 1 range that they have in their attack. And we see knights coming now from Aja Omar, getting the second armor. Currently for Plush Werewolf, only the first armor and first attack. Bloodlines is in as well for both players.
Yeah, both players are really aggressive here. Neither one has added another town center. They're both very much all in. Aja Omar going 3 stable knights and Plush Werewolf going 1, 2 stable step lancers with I guess some of these fire lancers from the barracks. A little bit more mixed, but a lot of pole arms either way, whether or not the guy is sitting on a horse with the pointy stick or charging on foot with the pointy stick. So we got the battle of sticks versus the battle of blades. Plush is trying to tear down this stable, forcing Omar to repair it with 5 villagers.
That is quite the wood investment there. Also, to keep the villagers that are not collecting any resources, just repairing, just spending them. And I think the house on the right will definitely break. It's not being repaired. It's being repaired now by everything. And there are 30 knights on the field. Knights will try to jump this from behind. But right as they try to jump, a house breaks. And big engagement. Big engagement.
Yeah, I love the choice of step lancers here on a map that's got like lots of very open, pocketed forests that are difficult to get a good surround on. A step lancer makes a lot of sense because they can stack on top of each other and get better fights that way.
Yeah, the stacking here definitely helped. Although I think with the numbers and defenders advantage here for Omar will win the fight. At least for now. And only fire lancers currently on the field for Plush Werewolf, and one lone step lancer that is running back home.
Yeah, Plush maybe would have gotten better value out of the step lancers if he had pulled them back to fight inside of a forest. He's recharging his pointy boys now, his fire lancers, his step lancers, and he's got a couple of spearmen too. But Plush Werewolf's military is dangerously small. That's the big risk. Plush, it looks like it's going to add another town center at this juncture, which might not work out so well if Omar decides to attack.
Plush Werewolf going for a castle in the middle, and Omar is going for a TC up top.
Yeah, they're both expanding to the opposing corners now. So actually both players taking their foot off the gas and deciding to add economy. Yeah, I see Plush Werewolf's castle now on the top of the hill. Can he get it up in time? He's got there's a big army of knights coming. 11 knights, and this monk is staying home. He converted.
With the fire lancers there to defend, I think it should be fine. Especially with more villagers coming. But as I say that, the fire lancers actually go down. They don't have the armor, and I think the second armor for the knights is doing wonders here. Knights clear up the fire lancers as well, and this castle might be the knight here at currently 85%. No, Plush Werewolf forces the castle up. Loses some villagers in the process. More eco kills. But castle is up. And 5 knights just stand there at the base.
Lost so many villagers though. But it's kind of hard to tell with those sorts of things. Yeah, he sent like 8 villagers to build this and has only 2 remaining. It's hard to know while your step lancers are engaging that you need to small wall around your construction site to prevent your villagers from losing, because you just kind of hope that you're gonna win. And yeah, you know, time is valuable. Quick walling time is valuable. The time that you spend quick walling is time you can't spend managing your economy. So I can understand his reluctance to do so. So these knights are going to come back and heal, I guess. But they did win. They did win 2 victories. They've cleaned up 2 of Plush Werewolf's armies.
Yeah, current eco KD is 12-3 in favor of Omar. And Otter makes a good point that he loses a few less villagers if he doesn't force click the castle so much. Just force clicking a castle like that, or any foundation in general, it delays the building because they restart their animation.
Hey, the Otter One is in chat. Welcome, the Otter One. He says, does the shrine do anything besides 10 population space? I don't believe so, the Otter One. I don't believe so. But this shrine was the inspiration for the forts, or the camp barracks, in Alchemy League Season 11. We're going to give them the ability to train Iroquois warriors. As you know, Plotterghost helped us test that. but we're also going to give them garrison space. So anything you could garrison in a castle, you could garrison in the fort. And we're going to give them the 10 population supply that these pagan shrines provide. Otter saying he thinks they should be able to make priests. Well, that would be a lot of fun, but something like that is generally a more of a thematic change, something that, you know, an entire map pack would have. Plush Werewolf making this pikeman army. Yeah, go ahead.
Adding in priests kinda can be very, very overpowering if one player gets it early. The priests kinda, at least on the maps that I know where there is capturable shrines where you can make stuff like priests or monk units in general, especially if they can convert in Dark Age, for example, it is something that gets out of hand relatively fast. But as we're talking about priests, we miss the Night Raid in Plush's base.
Yeah, devastating. It's basically completely taken off of wood. He's got to send his pikemen all the way back. I think that Plush should just like rebuild his lumber camp underneath his town or underneath his castle. I don't even think he should bother going back here, or he should stonewall that off.
He also has the wood line in the bottom corner, right? So
yeah,
technically you don't really need to use another wood line there.
Unfortunately, that's not possible, the Otter one. In RMS, at least, you can't enable something to be buildable only in the Castle Age onwards. You have to, if you're going to enable something to be a trainable unit, it needs to be available from the Dark Age for random map scripting purposes. Now, with external subroutines in XS, you can do something like that, but they don't transfer properly in lobbies, so that's why you haven't seen, you know, XS really in any competitive formats. Now, what you may recall is you may have seen priests as creatable Dark Age units from shrines in Holy Cup. That was several years ago. But they were weak. They had a range of like 1, and they were somewhat slow. So it wasn't that huge of a threat to villagers because they could small wall out. If you can believe that. They could simply close the door and not let the preacher into their home. But, you know, monks, they can convert you even if you don't let them into your base. So that might be what you're thinking of.
Ooh. We have a castle coming up from Aja Omar, but Plush Werewolf coming forward with rocket carts and his pikemen. Knights here to defend. Rocket carts go down, but the pikes do great damage. And believe it or not, it is 27 pikemen on the field. They run away. They find a gap where they can safely run away.
So I think Aja Omar has gotten really great value in with the raids. He's gotten far better eco KD relative to Plush Werewolf. I like Plush Werewolf's plan, though. I think Plush Werewolf has the right idea with this map. Like, he's building forward siege workshops, he's building castles on hills, he's making pikemen, he's defending a single point. You know, he wants to push. Whereas Aja Omar has just made knights and run around with knights and killed villagers, which does win games.
It definitely works, especially if you can find as much value. Current eco KD is 30 to 5. And Aja Omar is up to Imperial Age as well. And Plush Werewolf looks like he is nowhere near clicking up.
Yeah, Plush Werewolf with a kind of a greedy 4-town center boom here on such an open map. Although Aja Omar has got 3 town centers of his own. So tough map to avoid damage from those mounted units. Very open map. So Aja Omar knows if he's going imp and he plans to siege his opponent's castle, he's going to need good trebuchet production. So he's building
another castle, but there is a few rocket carts here that could potentially deny it. Villagers go down. Monk goes down as well. Monk that was carrying the relic. Ranges are coming up for Aja Omar. I think he might want to transition into... I think it would be crossbow. That would make sense here, especially with the amount of gold that he is floating.
Plush Werewolf trying very hard to deny the castle, but it does end up going up.
Castle goes
down.
up, but pikeman could just sit underneath the castle and poke it down. There's already more than 2,000 HP from the castle that is just taken down by these pikemen.
Have you guys ever seen pikemen just poke down castles before? I feel like it's very rare, unless you're the Goths or something.
Well, Murder Holes is in, so these pikemen will go down.
Plush Werewolf saving up for Imp too. He's got a lot of
like
infantry in queue,
needs
though.
to.
He's got to pull his infantry back. He may not have realized that Edge Omar got Murder Holes.
I think he kind of forgot about it. But no traps on the field yet for the Chinese here. They are in queue. And up top there are some pike raids that Haji Omar has not noticed. It's only 2 pikes. It looks like they are on defensive stance, so they keep running towards the villager, but the villager on the farm just moves away, and then it's slightly out of range, so the pikemen just run back again.
Well, they'll keep that 92 food farm clear. Neither player's noticed them. Alright, that villager does go down.
In the meantime, though, the castle in the middle is being trapped. 3 traps now out on the field. Cavalier and armor as well. I get the Cavalier choice, since the Cavaliers did so much in terms of killing villagers early on, but with the amount of pikemen that you see from your enemy, I think getting the Arbalasts and just pushing through the middle might be a better choice here.
Yeah, I think we've seen Edge Omar really more so play the map than the civilization. I don't think Edge Omar has done anything in particular that the Chinese are good at, right? But that's kind of also the point. We gave him so many civ bans that there was not a good chance of getting a winning civ, but you may be able to find a civ that is competent in your winning strategy. And Edge Omar here with the night raids, and he's transitioning to Arbalisters, which again, you know, a lot of civs have the option to make. So Edge Omar playing the openness of the map, getting massive raids on Plush Werewolf, doing a lot of economic damage against him, and Plush Werewolf struggling to keep up here.
Yeah, has clicked up to Imp, is 45 seconds away. But with the amount of Arbalesters now on the field, and GG is called, and Aja Omar takes game number 1.
Yep, well played. I think Aja Omar definitely deserved the win here. He did more to accommodate the map. Although Plush had some cool ideas, I don't think that they worked given how open the map was.
I think the early amount of step lancers at the front of the base could have been very dangerous if they would have found a way in. But the triple stable defense there, and then just the knights having better upgrades as well, I think that was kind of what decided the game. Like from that point on, we never saw Plush Werewolf really pushing anymore, but just playing defensively, making only pikes. And Aja Omar was in a very comfortable position from there on out.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, about the Step Lancers. Like, maybe this would have been a very different game if Plush Werewolf had sent 2 villagers to stone, and, you know, he just used that stone to stonewall the different sections of his base to avoid being raided. And then he built a forward siege workshop with the 3 stable Step Lancer production, mixed in a couple Scorpion. You know, he could have given Aja Omar a really bad time with all of that. That was dangerous for a while. But then he took his foot off the gas, and he gave Aja Omar room to breathe, because he needed room to breathe because he had been raided. And so, I don't know. It could have been a different game if Plush had kept up the aggression, if he had been able to. Let's take a look at the statistics. Yeah, look at this KD for Aja Omar here. Units killed versus units lost. That's quite crippling. 132 to 60. Plush Werewolf had a
And
larger
a lot
army.
of that is just pikemen. Like that larger army count is a lot of pikemen, and a lot of those pikemen just went down to the castle that went up, and also just to the crossbows later on, to the ARPs.
And some villagers mixed in that too. Plush with
Yes.
more wood, but Adja Omar with more food, stone, and gold collected. Technology, Adja Omar first to feudal. Plush, significant castle age advantage. 2.5 minutes advantage to castle age, and Adja Omar made it to imperial.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think like I said, if you use that castle age time with the step lancers and actually get in, then you're in a very good position. I think also missing that armor. And I think that was also only 2 stable production, right? Let's go back and check.
Yeah, he was 2 stable. 2 stables and a barracks making fire lancers.
Like, the moment he reaches Castle Age, there is only 1 stable on the field. And then once Castle Age is reached, that is when the second stable goes down. Whereas the third stable is already coming up for Aja Omar right before, not right before, but as he clicks Castle Age, the third stable is going up. So he is definitely in the lead there in terms of production speed.
All right, Plotter, I am loaded into Kubu. I am on 0 seconds, and I am ready to go whenever you are.
All right, and I will load in as well.
We've got the Turks versus the Japanese. I'm pleased here to see Plush Werewolf able to play as green. Some people were saying that Kubu didn't work in spawning the players properly, and I was a little alarmed about that, but it does indeed not work if you choose team positions and you choose the wrong colors. So if they had chosen team positions, they would have to play as red and blue. But because they didn't choose team positions, they can play as any colors they want. All right, are you here, Plotter?
Yes, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So welcome to the second game of Adja Omar versus Plush Werewolf. They are playing on Kubu v4 by Superhero 55. Now, Superhero is a member of this community. You guys may have heard of him because we're going to see him later in the next set, but unfortunately he will not be playing on this map. But this was a map concept that Superhero had developed, and he wanted to submit it to the open contest for Alchemy League Season 10, but he had already uploaded it to the in-game workshop. And you know how we are. We don't like maps that have been updated to uploaded to the in-game workshop. We like our own unique. We like to be able to say that our own maps are exclusive to Alchemy League, and when you upload them to the workshop, anybody, including the devs, can take them and do whatever they want. Not that they would, but sometimes they might. So what we did was we helped Superhero develop a new player generation technique that added in some additional rotations and some more variety for Kubu, because the player bases were just directly across from each other. So now there's sort of the possibility that the different player bases are arranged in different rotations on the map, and it looks like we've gotten a slight, probably 22.5 degree rotation or so, I would say. We got Plush Werewolf playing as the green Turks in this nice palisaded base, and we've got Adja Omar playing as the red Japanese. So, thoughts about this hideout style map? Thoughts about the civs? What do you think, Plotter?
I think these hideout style maps are so wildly different in how they can play out. Some players assume I'm walled, I'm fine, I can do whatever, I'll just fast castle into something. But then we have another player who is, I'll just fast feudal into a lot of towers, aggression, and they just break the walls. Sometimes we just see a boom from both players. Like these palisade walls, they provide some form of protection, but not the best kind of protection, if you ask me. I think breaking these walls is something that can happen with like 2 or 3 men at arms, and then you have an archer follow up behind, and suddenly your whole base is exposed because you never, like, there is no extra wall layer, right? You don't really think about walling because you're already walled.
Yeah, and I characterized this as a hideout style map earlier, but the reason for that is because Hideout is the first map that I can think of that appeared on the ranked ladder where players started with palisade walls. There may have been other Stonewall maps that were earlier, like Fortress or like Arena. But I don't necessarily know, upon further reflection, if it's appropriate to characterize Cubu as a hideout style map. Because a hideout style map would have an obstacle in the center, and for these two players, there is no obstacle in the center. You can just walk across the center. Whereas in hideout, there's a big tree patch in the center. So some of you may remember Blarney from the King of Ireland tournament had a big castle in the center, a Gaia castle. I would almost argue that was more of a hideout style map than this. This is more maybe unique. I'm not exactly sure how to characterize it.
Well, as you say that, like, there is a barracks coming up for Aja Omar, and might just be men-at-arms here. Like, he did collect the extra 10 gold, so he can get Loom and get the 3 men-at-arms. And I would not be surprised if we just see a mining camp here. No man-at-arms queued just yet. Might want to wait a little bit until he clicks up. But he is in a very solid position to do some early damage, and it looks like Plush Werewolf here is kinda like he has 2 lumber camps already, so that kinda indicates that you want to do some form of eco thing. Preferably, I would say, fast castle from this position. But Feudal Age is clicked for the Japanese here, and I'm wondering when we will see the first men-at-arms.
Yeah, Japanese men-at-arms are very scary. They attack faster. I think it's 25% faster. You really don't want to mess with them if you don't have to. This is the kind of unit that you want to run away from and shoot arrows at. Scouts die quickly, villagers die quickly. The real question is it going to be man-at-arms into towers, or is it going to be man-at-arms into archers? He hasn't...
of wood, I would say it is man-at-arms archers. But the first man-at-arm is already out on the field, or not man-at-arm, the militia.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a little bit risky sending your militia out this early, because Plush Werewolf does have a scout on the prowl. And he could encounter this. And if... I don't want to say if he were smart, but if Plush Werewolf were thinking, he'd probably be looking around here. But then again, he may be like, oh, I want to get a good idea of what's going on with the gold. And I have sufficient walling that I'll be prepared no matter what he sends at me. So Plush Werewolf hitting the Feudal Age and immediately clicking the Man-at-Arms tech. And so he's going to have 3 Man-at-Arms.
Forward range, but I would like to see these Man-at-Arms starting to hit somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, currently they're just chilling, not really doing anything. They could already be breaking in.
He may feel like the militia are not as good at breaking in. Alright, now they should be breaking in because they're just man-at-arms.
They're man-at-arms. Arson is on the way as well.
I bet he's waiting to get a surprise on Plush Werewolf until Arson and man-at-arms comes in. Because he knows at that point, Plush Werewolf cannot get to the wall in time to repair it. Look at how quickly it goes down. Yeah, I'm sure it was deliberate. Plush Werewolf not even going to try it. Look at this double gate from Plush Werewolf.
Okay, the left side, though, is still completely open.
Yeah. He's going to have to close this
Scout fight on the right. Looks very even.
Plush Werewolf pulling ahead, killing Aja Omar's scout with his own. Stonewall, absolutely the right thing to do here.
Yeah, palisades just break so fast, but with like 1 or 2 archers behind, This gate will go down very fast. There is also, the gate is not locked. Oh, now it's locked. I was about to say, the gate is not locked beforehand. The villager could actually open the gate before it is, when it's completed, so the man-at-arms can just walk right in.
I still don't understand why that is a thing. Like, when a villager completes a gate, shouldn't their instinct be to not walk through it unless commanded to do so? Ooh,
The stone gate is already almost down.
It's on fire too. Does Plush realize this gate is on fire? Who knows what's burning because it's all made out of stone. But Adja Omar's going to get in here. I guess Plush deciding he does not want to repair it. I think he needs to build a couple more houses here or something. But he's decided to wall to the town center, which I think is smart.
Yeah, and now the difficult thing for the aggressive player is not lose your military to towers, to TCs that your units just will walk under if you don't watch out. But tower is being fought by the men-at-arms. Archers being fought by villagers. And I think Plush will defend this for now, and he is up to the castle age.
Plush did a nice defense there. I don't really have too much to critique about Plush's defense at all. I think Adja Omar had a good build, and I think it was actually really smart for him to wait until his upgrades came in before attacking the wall. Plotter and I weren't sure about what that was about, but it looked like it was very deliberate, because he knew that if he had the upgrades, he would tear through that wall like tissue paper, and Plush wouldn't be able to respond. And he does have some archers. Now, I'd like to see Adja Omar come around and be annoying on this gold, and he probably still could. Yeah, here he comes.
There is no walls on the right side. The left side looks fully walled, at least with houses. But with Fletching being in, 2 archers. Third archer is there as well to group up with his friends, and that could be some villager kills here if Plush is not careful. That is at least 1 villager. And some nice micro.
And all it would have
taken
was for Plush Werewolf to build a house here in between this forest and this palisade wall, and that's it. You know, he could still be taking gold right now. I guess Plush is going to build a second watchtower next to his gate, and maybe he's going to delete this wall segment and then take gold forward. Maybe that's the plan. I'm not exactly sure what Plush's plan for gold is. Well, the Turks need it.
He reaches castle age, but what will he do with his castle age? Like, his eco is quite idle. He has 23 villagers. Make that 22. There's nothing in queue. And 33 villagers for Adja Omar. So his aggression definitely paid off, even though he is a full age behind.
Yeah. Yeah, Plush very hurt by Adja Omar's aggression. And yeah, Plush is going to take the forward gold. I think he should totally button up this palisade wall. It's like, what, it's 3 wood right here in just a few seconds of just, you know, just to have the peace of mind that your opponent isn't going to send in a bunch of knights without warning you in some way by destroying another wall segment.
Yes.
But I get nervous. Taking the forward gold like that. Oh, it's Cav Archer. Okay.
Especially since you're already on gold in the back, right? Like, it's... You already have the mining camp there, so it kind of feels weird.
Okay, so the plan is Cav Archers from Plush. He's got 2 archery ranges working. How are his upgrades? Well, he has the first upgrade. He's got the range and attack upgrade. And the Cav Archers deal 1 base damage more than crossbowmen, 2 base damage more than regular archers. I don't know that he's going to be able to get in on Adja Omar, though. But he might find this builder out here.
Yeah, he might, and the Cav Archer numbers start to be somewhat scary, at least. They will not break through the gates as fast as the men-at-arms, but definitely they require some reaction. But Adja Omar is now up to the castle age himself. The villager was found and killed. That makes the eco KD 1 to 4. But these builders here still in danger of being killed. And what will the Japanese answer be to the rising number of Cav archers here from the Turks?
Probably crossbows of their own. Let's check and see. I mean, Aja Omar is getting the armor for the archers, but that could mean skirmishers. But I find that regular crossbowmen trade cost effectively against cavalry archers. Yeah. And
Cav archers break in, deny the range, and I think, like, no matter what unit you're going for, I think what you would want to do is at least produce it. If it's skirms or archers, you want to at least produce it so you have a number of them in the range when you reach Castle Age. Currently, there's one archer, and that archer is just off to the side, not really engaged anywhere.
Yeah. Plus,
I don't think you want to go for Cav archers of your own because you're already behind in the Cav archer numbers so much. Like 12 Cav archers out on the field at the front of your base.
Yep. Plush chiseling his way through this wall, but unlike Plush Werewolf, Aja Omar walled the gap between the forest and the palisade. I think Plush should have just sat on this hill and focused down this house and then broken in that way. He could still get over to this woodline here. Now, Aja Omar has built 3 ranges in the back of his base, and Plush Werewolf does not know about them. He might find them later. But this tells me that Aja Omar is planning on a massive buildup of military, and Aja Omar is making cavalry archers. Oh boy.
And it was FC Cav archers. At least it looked like that was the plan from Plush. But he is running in. Loses at least one Cav archer to the TC, and villagers on stone are currently denied their stone intake.
And these Cav archers doing some good damage here. Plush needs to run forward a little bit more and get on this tower. Camp the base of the tower. He could really slaughter quite a few villagers. I also would have liked to see Plush leave a few Cav archers behind to prevent his opponent from walling in his cavalry archers.
Yes.
Now with the tower up, Plush can't really get good damage in, so he's got to run out.
Also, the Botkin was not in yet. He's just getting that now. Eco KD is even, 4-4. And Villager lead still in favor of Aja Omar because he has the 2 TCs, but not producing out of any of them right now.
He's under a lot of pressure from Plush. Now, Plush has 5 on stone now, and if he's only on 1 town center, this either says that Plush is planning on adding a lot more town centers soon, or he's planning on a castle, or he's planning on selling stone to get more gold, I think, which is what he just did. But I wouldn't mind seeing Plush Werewolf do like a castle drop right here, you know, next to Aja Omar's mill, and deny both of Aja Omar's gold. I think that'd be pretty vicious. And he does have the momentum for now. Aja Omar built, I mean, he ultimately has 4 ranges. He's going to try and match Plush Werewolf's cavalry archer numbers.
And Plush Werewolf has Cav archers all around the map, not really grouped in one place. So could be, like, if there is one big mass of Cav archers from the Japanese, they could start picking off. But looks like we are grouping up now, trying to break in the front.
The whole divide and conquer thing.
20 Cav archers on the field.
Competitive set so far.
Coming down.
Yeah,
yes.
Competitive set. Siege Workshop is a good idea. Mangonel could be hard to land some hits on cavalry archers, but maybe some scorpions could be effective.
And no ballistics for either player. Scorpions also, of course, benefit from the ballistics upgrade. But we do see Thumb Ring for the Japanese player coming in. So their cav archers will fire a bit faster, be a bit more accurate. And looks like Plush is running around the back, trying to break in again, maybe?
He could finish
Maybe
off
not.
this palisade gate pretty quickly. He might try to get in and raid the stone. Yeah, Adja Omar pulls off of the stone, but Plush decides not to go in, just giving himself the option to go in there later. Plush probably assuming that Adja Omar is out here building, trying to chop his way through to the gold, which is not the case, because that's what Plush Werewolf is doing. Plush has expanded and built a town center on his neutral gold. Although
I also like that
knows.
he is adding in an outpost there, so he gets a bit more of an advanced warning in case there is a counter raid.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Outpost is always a good idea. Vision. It's a great idea. Well, outposts in the Dark Age are a bad idea. Do you think? Are you one of those outpost advocates who believes that outposts should not cost stone?
I get why they cost stone though. Like, it is so powerful that you have to balance it in some way, and when you have that Ethiopian teammate in team games and you can just build outposts everywhere, I just build outposts all game long. Like 1 or 2 dedicated outpost villagers that just show me the entirety of the map until they eventually die because they run under enemy TCs, because I see so much.
So Plush Werewolf with an army of 25 cavalry archers, Adja Omar with 13. Adja Omar coming in here for a raid as promised. At least Plush Werewolf could see that. I'm pretty sure Adja Omar could see it too. Let's check the line of sight of his cavalry archers, but they're probably pretty good. Because they had the range upgrades. Actually, they did not find Plush Werewolf's town center. Here we go. Now he finds
they find it now. And what will the reaction be? There is currently a mass of cav archers at the front of his base. Siege workshop coming up as well for Plush. Plush has not realized that his... Oh, now he realizes that the wood line on the gold is being raided by the cav archers. And I wonder what the siege opening will be for Plush Werewolf here. I would not mind having a ram to just break down the buildings. And that's a very ballsy castle with no army support.
And, okay, he's got a bunch of villagers. I'd love to see that castle on top of Adja Omar's gold, but I guess that works too.
Yeah.
He's got the cavalry archers to get it up. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know. Adja Omar is going to build the castle where I wanted Plush to build his castle. But this is a safe castle for Adja Omar. It secures both of his golds. He's got a couple of scorpions standing by. And now it's going to be a race to Imperial Age. Adja Omar knows about Plush Werewolf's castle because it's being built within the vision radius of his buildings. Does Plush Werewolf have the ability to go to castle, or to Imperial? He does not.
No,
so Plush
no, he is so far away. And a little bit of market here from Adja Omar, and he clicks up.
Otter
so definitely in a good position. But
stone cost is the only thing that somewhat makes outposts balance. Otherwise, they'd be completely OP. So it looks like Otter One agrees with your sentiments about the outposts.
And it is a ram opening, like I said. Just one ram, taking out the market. Taking out the market a bit too late, though, because Imperial Age already coming in. And I think only 9 on food currently for Plush. With 2 TCs, you don't really bank up any extra food if you want to keep your TCs running. Hiko looking very heavily in favor of the Japanese here. With a 73 to 60 villagers. And as I say that, more villagers go down to the cav archers.
I'm just surprised that it was cav archers. I think Janissaries could have done a lot more damage, in my opinion. Now, the cav archers didn't require a castle, but you know, for 22 attack in the castle age with 8 range, I mean, you can just surround entire wood lines with that. You could You could be real obnoxious with Janissaries. But
I think that
they both have
might have
played this
been
very open, Plotter. They
it
both played open.
it might have been the play or the plan to go for Janissaries. But I think the early attack with the men-at-arms and the archers behind kind of disrupted that, and then you need something to defend. You cannot do nothing and not collect stone, because the stone was also denied. Currently still has some on stone, so could potentially drop another castle in the future, but it is 30 cav archers versus 20. Rams get pushed back by the mangonels. Scorpions on the field as well. Trebuchets are in queue, and Imperial Age still nowhere near for Plush. Actually, it's in the same spot he was in when his opponent clicked up. At least that's what it feels like in terms of rest, that he is floating.
He's taken a lot of damage to these cavalry archers, but he did clear out Edge Omar's siege weapons, and looks like he's going for a ram push. And I think the villagers can charge down those rams. Edge Omar actually has the mill working for him. The rams can't get a good pathing to the castle because the mill is in the way.
Like you say, villagers will engage with the rams, but cav archers there to snipe some of the vills. Cav archers, though, will take a lot of damage from the castle. Trebuchets being pulled back very wisely. Don't want that near the rams, but only 4 military now on the field for Plush. 4 military on the field in total versus an opponent who is in Imperial Age, and GG is called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Plush's final stand. It's interesting to see what people make of these maps. I view this as a close map. I would just like stone wall to the edge of the map. I would use these big bubbles of trees. But some people see something different in it. You know, just big cavalry archer mirror battle. Edge Omar never matching Plush Werewolf's cavalry archer numbers, but Plush not really able to punish Edge Omar for booming bigger than he did.
Well, and I think it was the early aggression that kind of threw Plush off of what he wanted to do. And then he never really eco-wise recovered, I think. Was too stuck on his cav archers. And not really able to make his castle push work. And then the opponent reaching the Imperial Age. Well, you have a total of 100 food in the bank when he reaches Imperial Age is kind of damning already. But neither player... Oh, no, that's not true. Plush could have gone on to gold in his... what do you call it? The gold that was enclosed. Enclosed gold. It's the only area to be fully chopped into.
Oh yeah, the enclosed gold was a safe place to take gold later on. Let's take a look at this.
Superhero in my chat is wondering how Plush was so far ahead and still managed to lose, but I think that was just eco-wise. Aja Omar was just able to add more farms. I think that is basically it. The food collected there is 2,000 difference. And I think that is the game deciding factor for the Imperial time.
So Edge Omar with a 2-to-1 kill to death ratio. Plush Werewolf destroyed way more buildings though and had a larger army. Edge Omar with more resources collected across the board except gold, which Plush collected more of. As Turks it makes sense. Plush had a faster castle age again, but this time by 5.5 minutes. Edge Omar with a 10-minute feudal age and a 38-minute imperial age. This game played a lot like the first one. I think, where Adja
Yeah.
Omar does more in Feudal Age than Plush does some damage to Plush Werewolf in Feudal Age. Plush Werewolf kind of opens strong in Castle Age, but sort of runs out of steam and then takes really heavy losses attacking Adja Omar because Adja Omar has a better economy and a better base structure. I don't know. It seemed like that was the story for both of the games that they played against each other. Both of these players. I mean, this second map was
Yeah.
slightly more closed. Was more closed than the first one, actually. Not slightly, but definitively more closed. But it didn't really affect it. They played similarly to their first game. All right, so I'm ready to get into.
Right.
We're going to go into Superhero versus Nope next. I just need a quick
Yeah.
2 minute break, plotter, to step away. I'm going to
Yeah.
refill my water. So I will be back in 2 minutes if that's all right.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. Then I will do the same, and I
All
will
right,
see you in 2 minutes.
we'll be right back. Thanks. Don't go anywhere.
All right, I have returned. I'm not sure if Tech Chariot is back yet. Tech Chariot still away. Let me quickly fix a bit of that overlay for.
All right, I am back.
Great, so am I.
Excellent. Let's dive into Superhero versus Nope. I'm actually going to bring up on the screen their draft in case you want to
Yes.
talk about it. Do the league screen share. Their draft. So they have Crater of Doom and Emigration. And this is their draft. Looks like Superhero ended up with Ketons, Malians, Burgundians, Dravidians, and Wu. And Nope ended up with Chinese, Cumans, Ethiopians, Celts, and Wei. Thoughts about the draft?
I would say I like Superheroes draft a bit more in terms of civs. But that, of course, really depends on what you will play and where you will play it, what strats you want to go for. In terms of the admin bans, I kind of need to fix the overlay a little bit. Lots of very strong civs banned, but I think the strongest civs are still banned by the other players. especially superhero banning Mongols, Persians seem very strong. Armenians, in my opinion, not being banned, but Georgians being banned kind of makes sense. Then the snipe from Armenians makes sense because I think that is a very strong civilization on Crater of Doom, with all the rest that is scattered out and about with the mule cards could be really nice to have there.
Oh,
so it makes sense that that is the snipe there from Superhero.
All right, let's get into the games now.
Yes.
Let me change the overlay.
I am at 0 second. If you
well, that's some good reflexes right there. I am also at 0 seconds. So we'll go in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, guys. Right. Welcome. We got another game in the set. We got another set in the cast. Wait a second. I've loaded the wrong thing. Pause that.
All right. Then I will pause. I will rewind. Nothing happened.
False alarm. All right, there we go. It's amazing what a little reading will do for you. All right. Sorry about that. Where are you at, superhero? Or where are you at in the superhero versus Nope?
I am at 0 seconds once again.
Ah, so you fully rewound. All right, I will do the same. All right. Oh no. Oops. Okay, I'm at 2 seconds, so I guess we can just go at any time. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's try this again. It is Tech Cherry and Plotter Ghost, and we are casting Superhero 55 versus Nope 1585. India versus Pakistan. Not that that's a thing in Alchemy League, because we don't. I mean, we do care about where you come from, because we care about you as a person. But you know, we're not really making like country teams like some other esports do. But I just thought it was a fun thing to point out. They are playing on custom maps. So we got, for this set, we've got Crater of Doom and Emigration. And the first map that we're going to see is indeed Crater of Doom, made by Jasuki. He is a relatively new scripter in Alchemy League. I am joined by Plotter Ghost, or I am joining Plotter Ghost because he is also streaming. So we'll let him take it away.
Yeah, in the red here, we have Superhero 55 playing as the Burgundians. Burgundians do get their eco techs available 1H earlier, so we could see, for example, double bit X or the horse collar upgrades already in Dark Age. That is something, especially the double bit X upgrade is seen quite often. Maybe not like very early, but definitely around the time you click up, you want to already get double bit X. And then Nope 1585 playing as the Ethiopians.
Look at Nope being a filthy lamer. He's taken Superhero's boar.
I didn't even notice that was Superhero's boar. That is quite the good start there then for Nope. It is also a chicken generation, so Superhero cannot just push in some extra deer to help him. And both players start with 2 sets of berries. One set of berries being very, very far forward. And for both players, 1 set of berries practically right next to the wood line. And Fortager here makes a good point that Flemish militia can be pretty nice on the map. But with Ethiopians faster firing archers, if you have a small mass of them, could be quite useless, but depends on the timings, of course.
Yeah, this map has been a pretty popular map so far. People have found some compelling builds that you can build a dock and maybe send a couple oystering ships out, and then you don't actually need to send any villagers out to gold. I wish we had seen the outside more in play on this map. I think that the ring of trees perhaps could have been a little bit thicker, but it's really impossible to predict that kind of thing with 100% certainty.
Yeah,
But it's like a Socotra where you sort of have the option to chop through to the outside, you know, if you're behind and you're losing. It's I guess it's like a Socotra, but it's less snowbally than Socotra. That's how I feel
yes.
about it.
I think the thickness of the ring is fine in terms of how much space it takes up on the map, but maybe if the wood is being reduced from like 100 wood to 50 wood, you chop through a bit more, and that also gives a bit more opportunity to actually do stuff on the outside, because I feel like in the games I've seen and played myself, the amount of times that the outside became a factor was like very low. And the game that I played where I chopped out, it was like I placed a TC and that was it. Was not really able to really take advantage besides having a bit more space.
Well, that's where you got to do something dastardly as the map maker, like put a ring of unbuildable rock terrain on the outside border of the forest, so that once they chop out, it's like opening Pandora's box, and you are subject to perpetual raids. I don't know, maybe that drives the players nuts, but sometimes if you're a slightly evil map maker, you like to do that kind of thing.
Yes. And Nope is just barely missing some of Superhero's villagers that are taking some chicken on the right side. On the left side, Superhero actually made the mill already. No mill on the right side.
Yes, it makes sense. I mean, Superhero was lamed. He doesn't have as much food as Nope, so he's got to go out and find more food across the map. So that's why we see Superhero being forced into an earlier mill. I'm sure he probably, I don't know, maybe Superhero's happy-go-lucky. He seems like a pretty happy guy. Maybe he was happy-go-lucky about the map. He didn't even look at the maps beforehand. He's like, oh, you know, I'm just going to play. I love it when the players have that level of trust in Alchemy League. But at the same time, I really don't recommend it. I think you should look at the maps before you play. But I guess what I'm saying is we don't really know if Superhero knows if he's been lamed. We haven't seen anything in chat where Superhero is asking Nope if he lamed him. We don't have any rules saying that you got to put the skeleton underneath the boar so that you can see the skeleton but no boar and know that you've been lamed. You know, stuff like that. It's just kind of part of the mystery. So for all that Superhero knows, like, Nope has the same amount of food that he does, and Nope is out there somewhere too with a mill, also milling his chickens, but Nope is not milling chickens. Nope.
Already on 3 militia. Man-at-Arms upgrade coming in as well, and that is, I think, how he spent his extra food from the boar. Has milled his berries in the back. And these 3 villagers will need to run. Militia getting awfully close before the Man-at-Arms upgrade. Get the correct positioning, in my opinion.
Yep.
And there's the attack.
Really
that
good.
Is one dead villager, at least.
Really good positioning. Nope, spending that extra boar meat quite wisely. It's 400 extra. He basically gets Man-at-Arms for free, if you will. I think he could have maybe picked off another villager, but he still got one, and that adds quite a bit of value. And because of the hill bonus, he'll be able to tear through this wood line. Yeah, he probably wants to attack the house or the palisades. The other one says, in his games, they become a cavalry map once they're opened, says Otter 1. I think that's pretty common.
Yes.
So I guess Otter wasn't referring to this map then. What do you think? Attacking the lumber camp, the right thing or the wrong thing? Certainly the most expensive to repair. Forcing Superhero to build a tower.
Yes, I think forcing the tower and then just backing off. I don't really think attacking the lumber camp. I think the house, it has a bit less HP, and I think it also has less armor, so it goes down a bit faster as the Man-at-Arms find another group of villagers and one more villager kill here for Nope.
Yeah, Nope with a very compelling Man-at-Arms rush for sure.
Yes.
You know, because if he had not been careful with the Man-at-Arms, he could have lost them to a garrison tower, and then he wouldn't have been able to come over here and deny these chickens. So these Man-at-Arms simply existing in this area telling Superhero, you better not come back around these parts.
Oh,
Otherwise,
Superhero
I'll beat
chose
you
to
up.
come back, and
Yeah.
there is another villager that goes down, and that is a... But on the meantime, Flemish Militia and Skirmishers are out that we totally missed on top. Very forward range from Superhero. And another defensive tower, but this time from Nope on his woodline and berries.
Mm-hmm. So Superhero does have a plan for the feudal age similar to Nope, but it looks like his resource expenditure may be a little bit more modest. I'm not sure how expensive Flemish Militia are.
Driving the TC, I'm not sure if I like that.
Maybe it's just part of his. Maybe it's part of his strategy. I've never. Yeah, I guess Superhero was distracted. Here we go.
Yes.
We got some skirms coming in. Skirms can't really do much damage themselves.
The Flemish Militia is 30 food, 25 gold.
So they're pretty cheap, actually.
Yes.
They're not like 60 food. Nope is definitely in a really good position this game. He's profited immensely from the lane. The other one says once the ring is broken, it becomes a cav map. Oh, alright. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think once you can expand towards the outside, then the mobility becomes a big factor, but early on, I feel like it's definitely just archers and skirms, mostly.
Now, you can, Otter one, I mean, you may have tested this, you can still wall to the edge of the map, right? Like, you could stone wall this off once you're out here. So we got a fight here. Nope's Man-at-Arms actually crushing Superhero's Flemish Militia, and then he could engage these skirmishers. I don't think there's too much, but Nope playing very carefully.
Nope also added in the stable because there is more scouts. I'm not sure if we want to add scouts currently, but against the skirms it could be very, very nice.
Let's check Nope's resources to see how close he is to clicking up. He's actually not close clicking up to Castle. Both these guys just want to kill each other in Feudal Age.
Heading into scouts is delaying that more and more, but the scouts could of course get some nice value. Definitely some exposed villagers around. And army numbers now in favor of Nope. Superhero only has 2 skirms and some Flemish to defend.
The Otter one says, I think so, but my games were very hectic at that point. Oh boy. So hectic he doesn't remember. That's pretty wild.
About hectic and not remembering, there is a second blacksmith coming in for Superhero. But he realizes that he made the first blacksmith already.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely hectic for both players here. Skirms on the front go down to a scout. Superhero seems to defend nicely so far.
Ethiopian scouts, Plotter. Who would have guessed it? Superhero finally deciding to build a dock. I guess, you know, he has a couple villagers on gold, but, you know, maybe a dock represents a better opportunity to collect gold.
I think it's nice to have it, but with the scouts around and also the archers, like, I think the dock itself provides some form of protection if you have like 2 or 3 fishing ships, but I think that is such a huge investment at this point. You kind of have safe gold, somewhat safe gold at least. Maybe it's not the safest gold, it's actually in the front. I thought there was gold near the back as well. But both players gold very forward as well.
Sounds like Plotter disagrees with the dock. See, you got to look at the dock as an opportunity for demolition ships, and then it makes sense.
That is totally true. That is totally true. Now we're playing like, or casting like pro players.
Yeah.
Thinking about demos.
I bet the Otter one is secretly getting very excited about the possibility of some explosions.
He's not alone in that, but I think with Nope being up to Castle Age first and Superhero, Doesn't look like he is that close, at least not yet. But could potentially build a market and abuse that a little bit. But timing-wise, definitely in favor of Nope, and I would not be surprised if we see just archers from him from this point.
Yeah, Nope just buying some time, not engaging with the scouts, sending his archers, which is kind of a... Alright, there he goes. He pulls them back. That'd be kind of a weird fight to send your archers up against the enemy skirmishers. So that's all that Nope has to do is wait till Castle Age, get crossbows, and make lots of crossbows and just tear through with the machine gun crossbows for Arbalest, for Ethiopians.
There's the market for Superhero, and I think we will see him buying some food. Or not, just force dropping off and clicking up. Didn't need the market in the end, but buy some food anyways to get some other upgrades.
So I was going to ask you, what is the deal with Burgundians on this map? I mean, we saw Flemish militia, but I'm not really sure what they were doing. Maybe Nope's lame and aggression messed up Superhero's plan, whatever that plan was. But what do you see in the Burgundians on this map?
Well, I think Flemish militia, like people pointed out in chat earlier, is quite strong. I also think getting the eco upgrades, for example, we see Bowsaw coming in for Superhero before he is even in Castle Age. So definitely a huge boost to the eco. In terms of res collected, Superhero is 400 res behind in a game where he was constantly being pressured and even lamed. So in that sense, I think the eco upgrades definitely paid off. I think there is no hole between the market and the houses, but I could be wrong. Could still be a dead villager building the house. And villager goes down indeed. But Superhero doing a good job of refreshing his lumber camps and is almost out. There is only one tree standing from chopping outwards for Superhero. For Nope, looks like it's also only one tree to chop out. So we will see if this transforms into the cavalry map that Otter claims it will be.
They are almost out. Superhero had saved up some resources for Skirmisher, so he's going to invest in. Actually, he's also building a siege workshop. I mean, I guess if you're Superhero and you know that your opponent is heavily on this forward gold, maybe some surprise rocks getting thrown on their heads. You know, it's too juicy of a target to resist. So Superhero, actually, he's making a ram. Never mind. I thought he was going to make a mangonel. And Nope sees it, and Nope decides to make a siege workshop of his own. So Superhero still wants to play aggressive. I also wanted to say that despite all of the pummeling that Nope has done to Superhero's feudal age economy, Superhero's only 6 villagers behind, and he has some additional eco upgrades that Nope does not have. So those villagers are more efficient. So I'm really impressed by Superhero's economic resilience.
Yes, and I think one of the reasons for the ram is the rams can be loaded up with the Flemish militia. They can then get transported close. Rams with units garrisoned inside will do extra damage, move a bit faster. Now what I don't like is we have skirms for Superhero, but only fletching on them. So not the greatest at defending against the crossbows, and we still have the army from Nope that is pressuring the front of Superhero's base here. But in the meantime, Superhero is doing a great job of pressuring the front of Nope's base.
Yeah, they're both going on a base trade here. Superhero's moving a little faster than Nope is, I think. But they both have an army and a siege workshop on opposite flanks of their opponent's base.
Yeah, the thing is that the mangonel, a Superhero pulls back the villagers from his forward gold, loses one. But that mangonel was not really doing anything and is now in range of a tower. The tower is shooting at something, shooting at the crossbow.
Superhero's also chopped through So I wouldn't be surprised, in at any moment now, to see Superhero come on outside and build himself a town center. Actually, he needs to buy a little bit of stone first, but
Superhero going all in, going for the TC from Nope with the Rams. Has the Mangonel working, has the Flemish Militia there as well to support. And I think the TC will go down there.
Yep. TC goes down. Crossbows are flattened by the Mangonel.
Great shots from the Mango. In the meantime, Superhero's TC not really pressured. The Mango is not even shooting currently for Nope here. I think it was blocked by the crossbows there, just out of range, and I think Superhero is in a very nice position.
What do you guys think? Were you expecting Superhero to make a comeback like this? It looked pretty ugly for him earlier. He was lamed by Nope. Nope had some really aggressive plays.
Nope,
I mean
losing
Nope is
TC, placing 2 more, so could still be in an okay position. Army count still relatively even, but Nope only 30 eco units, while Superhero is on 44. Definitely helps that he has some fishing ships there, collecting the gold. But currently 0 on food for Superhero. As I say that, he on garrisons and has some farmers working again. But if you look at the minimap, it's flashing all over the place. TC on the right side was actually denied. It's just going down. Mangonel goes down for Nope. Superhero defending there with the Mangonel of his own.
Otterone says he thinks Nope is dead, and Nope agrees.
And I think Nope agrees.
The crossbows were too idle. I think that is the root cause of it. I think Nope had a really great advantage early on, but he did not get value out of his crossbows like he needed. He actually did not. I suggested opening with the Mangonel, but I think the opening of the Ram was key because it broke into Nope's base from Superhero. Maybe if Nope had made a Ram, he could have broken into Superhero's base and then done a lot of damage with the crossbows.
Yeah, I think one of the things that the Rams did for Superhero was it also protected his Flemish militia, because he was able to just get 12 Flemish militia in the Rams, basically right under the TC. So the moment that these villagers popped out to fight the Rams, Superhero could pop out with the Flemish to fight the Vils. And then at that point, I think it doesn't even matter if the TC goes down or not, because you just do so much eco damage there.
Yeah, maybe if Nope had been at home with his crossbows to defend, or maybe if Nope had a Mangonel at home to defend, maybe if these units, well, Nope's units, Nope's crossbows, and Nope's Mangonel were at home, he could have flattened the Ram with the Mangonel and then killed the Flemish militia with his crossbows. But instead, things looked really good for Nope. I mean, we all thought that Nope was gonna steamroll a victory here because he was ahead for so long. And he probably felt that way too. So he's just like, my opponent's dead. I'm just going to finish him off. And he wasn't really under pressure.
Superhero really surprised me with the way he came back. I would not have expected a Ram push. But props to him for making it happen, also for thinking about it. Because in the moment, you're doing with a million things at the same time. You're also dealing with pressure on the front, and to just have the idea, all right, I'll just add Rams, and then I'll load up the Rams with my infantry units, and those infantry units can just kill under TCs as well. Yeah, great thinking there. Let's quickly go over the stats as well.
Yep. More even KD this time than the previous set. Superhero with a slight unit killed advantage, and slight buildings raised advantage. They both had a largest army of 29. What are the chances of that? Maybe they had a gentleman's agreement that they would both train exactly 29 units at maximum. Nope collected no stone, and Superhero collected more of everything.
Yes. And I believe there is no stone in the middle, so you have to chop out to get to the stone.
Yeah, very little stone in the middle. I think there's 700 stone in the middle. So enough for a single castle.
Ah, yeah, there is some stone in the middle.
Identical feudal age times, essentially. Superhero 4 seconds faster. We'll attribute that to being lamed. But Nope with a 2-minute castle age advantage. But Superhero defended against it. Nope explored more of the map and had more research. Slightly more villagers for Nope. 3 more villagers.
And in terms of APM, players are relatively even. Superhero at 49 and Nope at 45. But Superhero, at least this game, has 10 more APM on his eco, 10 compared to 20. But I think that might also be because of the pressure that he just needed to micro a bit more on his eco units.
All right, I am loaded into the second game, and I am ready to go whenever you are, and it's the right map and everything, and I'm at 0 seconds.
All right, I'm loading in right now. And I am at 0 seconds as well.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome, everybody. We are on a map that I have not had the pleasure of casting yet for Alchemy League Season 10, Sprint 1. We are on Emigration by Mercy. Mercy's a new map maker from the Netherlands. Never made a map before this one, and I don't know if he'll ever make a map again, but hopefully he will. You know, it's really exciting as a map maker to see your map played in Alchemy League by custom map enthusiasts. And so we've got Dravidians versus Chinese. Dravidians for Superhero and Chinese for Nope. Plotter, what do you think of these civilizations on this map?
I think Dravidians makes a lot of sense because there is a lot of water, and you definitely want to be fighting for water. Don't think there is a lot of fish, at least not on the initial opening part of the map, but especially if you look towards the outside of the map, there's quite a few spots where you can place some docks and have effective fishing. But in terms of non-water aggression, I think Dravidians, depending on what they go for, with the Elephant Archers could be very strong, but also quite expensive, at least early on. For Chinese, I think it makes sense to pick Chinese here. They're also quite good on water. You also start with the farms, so you don't really need to worry about early food income. And as I say that, Nope runs under the TC from Superhero, loses some HP on his scout. And definitely a map where early aggression can pay off, and water might not even come into play at all.
Hey, the Nagraj is here. What a map, says Nagraj. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good map. The map would be, I think it would be pretty snowbally if there were gold on the starting island. But I think the lack of gold on the starting island and the lack of deep fish around the starting island makes the map a lot more interesting. Because you have to come out to the outside to get some stone. I guess there is a little bit of gold if you count this this Arctic fox, but it's only 35 gold.
Yeah,
So,
that is not really doing anything, and we see Nope going for a dock already.
the
Dock
Nagraj
coming down
suggests
for Hero as well.
town center drop. What do you think about town center drop, Plotter?
I dislike it on water maps, honestly. I think the fact that there is fish running, at least hopefully you would add in some fish, kind of saves your eco from being completely dead. And usually the town center drop comes in around the time where people would normally click up. So you would be behind in terms of clicking up already because you delete your TC. And if the player that is being dropped manages to escape, then you're just kind of stuck on the island because there is no way for you to reasonably get off the island if the opponent chooses to add in, let's say, some galleys. But I think depending on how the map plays out, like if you scout that your opponent does not have a dock, could potentially be a very strong strat then.
Yeah, you know, maybe you can wall in your opponent's villagers or something so they can't get very many out to harvest gold. But I agree, if you do douche and you destroy your opponent's town center and your opponent has the ability to build a town center in the better lands further away, then you may not have accomplished very much. But it's an interesting thought for sure, the Nagraj. Welcome. We haven't seen Nagraj this season. He's taken a break from Alchemy League, but he's not taken a break from AoE Leagues, which is one of our competitors. I don't know, there's AoE Leagues, there's the Practice Squad League, and then how many other competing tournaments are there out there? You guys let me know. And if they have a cool feature that we should have, let me know that too. Because I'm always looking to improve Alchemy League. So if there's some way to do it, look at this. Nope is emigrating very quickly. It's the first thing that he does. Superhero has not emigrated yet. Yeah, if there's...
also clicks up first. And Nope immediately finding the gold is also quite nice. He also has his scout already just looking for other spots, potential future TC spots, potential good wood lines as well, extra golds. That may be a bit safer because I feel like this gold here is quite exposed if you add in some galleys on the shoreline. But so far, Superhero getting Loom, and it looks like he wants to do Fast Castle actually, with the amount of villagers that he's clicking up with.
That looks dangerous to me. That's almost asking for trouble. Now, Superhero, if he finds this gold, he could be okay. But he doesn't know about the gold. He does know about the stone now. He's scouted this stone, but there's kind of this weird box. Look at this. It's like a right angle forest here.
Like it's a literal wood line at the top. Just a line of trees.
And what's this? He gets back on the transport ship. What's this? He's going to land somewhere else? He's going to try his luck with another island? The transport ship is faster.
Did he scout the other... Yeah, he did scout the gold on the left side there.
This is what he wants.
So he might just be going there. Now, in terms of safety, I think the other gold might have been better, but he still doesn't know about it. Doesn't know about the gold that he's currently mining, of course. But Nope reaching the feudal age and not producing anything on water yet.
This is an interesting choice. Let's see, what is Nope doing? Wait a second, is he making one of them Hulk things, the grappling ships?
Yes.
That's
yes, he is heading in one Hulk. And it is going to be a market blacksmith for Superhero. That will also wall off the front of his base quite nicely. There is still a gap between the market and the wall off there.
Are Hulks overpowered, Plotter? What needs to be done to Hulks?
I think they are actually in a okay position right now. I don't think they're too overpowered. I think the biggest flaw with water currently is that it is very hard to come back on water if you lose water. And you also have the fact that you don't know what your opponent will be opening with. As we see Superhero transporting a sheep back home and more villagers outwards. Superhero up to the castle age. Has not added anything on water either, but also did not see that Nope is adding in ships. Does see it now. We'll need to be careful with his transport ship.
Oh, just passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that there's any reason that the transport ships need to be so micro-intensive. I think you should be able to set like a patrol on the transport ships, where you can set like a loading site and an offloading site, and the transport ship just runs continuously between the two. And then you can set your gather point, so your villagers would automatically go there, and then the transport ship just moves them across. But you don't have to do it. You could also micro it, but it seems like in 2026 we should be able to get like an auto transport ship move kind of command. Make it easier for the AI too. Oh, look at this. Nope has transported some archers to Superhero's side of the starting island.
This is the downside of walling in just on the outside. And even this wall here that is currently being placed with the houses by Superhero, Nope can just transport to the other side of that, and then suddenly he is on Superhero's woodline. And it looks like that is not what he will be doing.
Where's he going? I thought he would transport over to the Superhero's gold.
Yeah, he does see the gold. He does at least see the mining camp on the gold.
Yeah, he knows.
But for now, he's choosing to kill the Hulk. Superhero has expanded outwards. He's collected some sheep, and I think might be looking to... is adding in siege and now a monastery as well, so he's just looking to take Nope off of the main island here, and with the siege push starting and Nope not even being in Castle Age, I think Superhero once again is in a good position.
Yeah, where is Nope going? How does Nope know to go over there? Superhero's building a town center. Nope has no clue. He's just wandering that way.
Wandering, sees the chopped trees, now sees the TC going up. Oh, he's standing there at the edge, and that TC might be denied.
That's really good luck for Nope. Like, I thought that Nope would come over here and try and deny the woodline because he knew about that, or come over here and try and deny this gold. But instead he wanders into the middle of nowhere. Actually, he's going to let this town center go up. I guess he decides not to contest it further. He's got a lot going on. He's got Superhero with some forward mangonels on him. So, you know, we talk about it like, dude, what are you doing? But, you know, he's got a lot to think about right now.
Yeah, there is always more things that you can do to improve or to be currently doing, and AoE is already micro-intensive enough. And then you also have to think of everything that you need to do in the moment, which is quite the task. But Superhero currently only 5 on food. 2 of those are fishing ships, so not enough to keep his TCs running. Nope, desperately repairing his TC, is adding in scouts. Scouts will definitely deal with the mangonels. Scouts will also deal with the monks. And there is no barracks.
Superhero completely surprised by that. Yeah, I don't think he saw the stables at all. So he didn't even prepare for it. Yeah, he has no clue the stables were there.
And barracks now coming up for Superhero, so he might add in some spears, and then he, I think, will be completely fine again with restarting his push. Lightcav coming in for Nope. Does not really have the food to keep producing a lot of scouts. Currently only has 4, 1 more in the queue. Gold up top is running out, but Nope is adding in a TC on the stone. So we might see a castle drop from Nope in the middle, if he manages to secure his position.
Some light cav from Nope. That's pretty dangerous.
Needs to be careful.
Shuts down Superhero's plans for a monk siege push.
And he was also already on archers. Archers that are currently still wandering around the island on the right side. But, of course, the range is on his starting island, so he could add in a few more archers, and that will deal with the spears that Superhero is currently making.
So Nope has transported his scout to Superhero's Island. I'm not sure what's going on with that, if he's trying to steal a sheep, or if he really wants information about this island. Let's check his fog of war. I don't really know that he needs much more information about it. But kind of a cold war right now. Neither player attacking the other. Both just sort of building up.
I think for Superhero, he kind of needed to wait for the spears to defend the mangonels, and for Nope, he cannot really do anything with his scouts because of the spears.
So now Nope will need something different. He'll either need a lot more scouts, or he'll need a mangonel of his own.
And I think he will just try to engage, but with the spears there, not the greatest idea. Does not even get one mangonel.
Yeah, he's going defensive mangonel. He's building a siege workshop.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue there is that you're already up against 3 mangonels from your opponent. And luckily for him, there's not another one in the queue currently for Superhero, but I think with 3, you're already quite struggling to keep your TC up, as we can see. And that is quite a bit of wood investment there. More scouts go down, but 2 of the 3 mangonels go down as well, and TC is back to basically full HP.
Yeah, the scouts are pretty hurt, though. I don't think there's a single scout with more than 15 HP. Yeah, this one has 8. The other 2 have 6 and 2. But he did get 2 mangonels, so it was still really good value.
Yeah, that was great value. And Superhero's food eco behind this, looking quite solid. 12 farms on his starting island. But archers on the top... No, they're not attacking. I thought I saw movement, and I totally assumed that Nope would be attacking the TC there, but he is not. And Nope, also floating 1000 wood, so he could just drop some farms on the outside island. Could potentially just drop a few more TCs as well.
I got a question for you. How long, how much value does it add to defend this location? I know that there's obviously value in it in the sense that it's, you got a bunch of buildings there. It's your starting location. There's the time to relocate. Yeah. But there are not really many critical resources on this location. And Nope has 1,000 wood. So, why not build a town somewhere else?
Well, I think that's also the time to build and rebuild. Takes quite a long time. Also, it's a lot of resource investments to not have villagers working. And if you can defend it like this, with just one rocket cart, taking out the mangonel, taking out the scorpion, no, not taking out other mangonels, but I think double siege workshop would have been a better play. Also, using the scouts to raid somewhere else at this point could be strong. And 2 for 1 with the rocket cart there. So no more mangonels for Superhero once again. And also no mangonels in queue. And we do have a castle on the right side on Superhero's TC. And Superhero on the right side does not really have a lot of eco left there. Looks like a lot of it was killed. And it looks like Nope will take the right island. Superhero has expanded to the island on the left, but Nope also having the top there.
Yeah, we see Nope adding a town center because he castle dropped Superhero's town center, and that made it a relatively safe position for him. Superhero is working on Nope's blacksmith. He just finished destroying the market. He's got his armored elephant here punching away at the blacksmith. I'm surprised that we don't see more ships on this map. I would think that galleys would be quite effective. They can range a lot of the resources from the shore, or from their sea.
I think that there is not enough fish at this point to justify making a lot of water investments. As we see Nope's scouts taking out Superhero's transport ship. So no transport ship currently for Superhero. But once again, Superhero is just hard pushing with this time mangonels and elephant rams. And I think that TC will once again go down for Nope. Although this time he has expanded outwards already. So it might not matter too much that this area is now taken by Superhero.
Yeah, Nope managing to destroy all 3 of the armored elephants there. But not Superhero's mangonel. So Nope could build another rocket cart and hang on there. And I think that's what Nope is doing. Click on this. Yeah, his rocket cart is near completion. So Nope not giving up on that town center yet.
And that town center has taken a lot of damage. Taken almost 12,000 damage. And with the rocket cart there, the elephant rams will go down very fast. And Superhero for now chooses to back off with his mangonel. Might kill some Vils there though. That was a very nice shot. Oh. Kills quite a few Vils. Mangonel, 5 kills.
Wow.
Make that 7.
So let's check total Vil count. 55 for Superhero and 63 for Nope. So it's been a pretty chaotic and aggressive game so far.
Yes.
Superhero's been trying all game pretty much to get this town center down, and Nope will not let him have it. Nope is very adamant on defending this location. But it looks like Nope is leaving. Oh no, he's not leaving. He's building a castle. He's doubling down.
Yeah. He's not only is he building a castle there, he's also building a castle at the bottom on the left island, and Superhero is expanding there with quite a few farms as well. Oh, never mind. He think might take the boars next to the TC there. And another TC for Superhero. I think the only thing that Superhero currently is lacking is gold axes.
Yeah, but he's got gold nearby. And he's building a town center on gold, actually.
Yes. It's also taking some boars, so that it's free food. Very nice, but Chukanu are out for Nope, and that might be an issue for Superhero currently. Although these Chukanu currently only have fletching. Actually, in terms of eco upgrades, Nope is not in a great position. Only has double bit, does not have horse collar even. And was floating 1,000 wood earlier, currently is struggling for wood income. I think part of that is just because of the TC that he was preparing for so long. TC that took 12,000 damage. And now also adding in the farms that will expire relatively fast.
Even as Chinese?
Yes. I think horse collar, even as Chinese, definitely needed. Although it is a bit better. But at this point in the game, when you are adding in all your farms, I mean, it is still 27 farms that could be a lot better if you just get the horse collar upgrade, especially after the recent update where horse collar is being added retroactively to existing farms. And Superhero manages to click up to the Imperial Age as Nope is coming forward with a castle that will range 2 of Superhero's TCs.
That is a very aggressive castle.
Luckily, it's not the Imperial TC. But I'm not sure what Superhero will do about this castle. And as a matter of fact, Superhero, no castles at all. only has his pikeman to defend.
Yes, Superhero is not on any island that Nope is not on. Whereas Nope is on one island that Superhero is not on. Superhero started a siege workshop and then canceled it. I guess he decided that he was going to just be like the Beatles and let it be. Oh no, wait, he is building another siege workshop. Okay, but it's back here a little ways. I think that's smart. I mean, potentially, if Superhero... I almost would have put the siege workshop closer to the barracks. If Superhero can garrison his town center fully, and maybe roll some rams forward to, on the castle, he can use the garrison town center to protect the rams and take down the castle. The castle's up very quickly, and he doesn't have time to build the rams, and he doesn't have time to garrison his villagers. Okay, there he goes. He saves a few of them.
And still no castles. Almost enough stone for a castle. Enough stone for a castle is in for Superhero. Where will he place it? I think it might be on the hill. And it is not on the hill. But it's still a crucial part to defend. Now if Nope's Chukonu were actually a bit more forward, that castle could be denied, and I think that could be game. But instead, a relatively safe position there for the Chukonu, killing some villagers under the TC still. So still finding some value. But Nope, not up to Imp yet. I think might struggle with the Imp timing here from the Dravidian player.
He's gonna sell some resources, maybe. Okay, he clicks up now. Superhero has the Imperial advantage, though. He's already building a trebuchet. So it'll be a trebuchet war here in the southwest.
Yes, one trebuchet is adding in more TCs as well, keeping his villagers safe against these Chukonu. We also saw the medium warships upgrade come in for Superhero, but no warships out yet. I'm gonna say that there's 2 hulks on the field.
4 docks from Superhero, so he is planning some kind of warship play beyond, the misclick of... Medium warships was not a misclick, because
no.
If it was, then these 4 docks were also misclicks, which is very unlikely.
Yes, and heavy warships coming in as well, so definitely wanting to do some form of water aggression as well.
It makes a lot of sense. Water is pretty powerful for the resources that you invest. The question is, does Superhero have enough of a foothold on land to be able to launch a warship strike, or is Nope sufficiently well established that he could give up water and not really care? I mean, because Nope is basically on every single island. He doesn't even need transport ships anymore. Every island that he could want to be on, he is on.
Yes, Superhero is very, very struggling for gold. Selling a lot of food, selling a lot of other res. But we do see Terissadai out on the field, and these ships, unique to the Dravidians, very strong and hard to kill.
They're huge.
Yes.
So this is a monk ship right here. This is the kind of ship that you make monks to use against. The Superhero's got 3 of them. 12 attack, 250 HP. Are they like the elephants of the sea?
You could call them the elephants of the sea. We also will see a lot more galleons currently in queue for Superhero, but he still needs something against the Chukonu that are currently on his island. And he also will need something against the scout raids from Nope that are currently killing all of his villagers on the right island.
Yeah, he's got some Terissadai, but they were not able to stop the scouts from killing his villagers. And I don't think he has any villagers left here. No, he doesn't.
He has one very lonely, low HP villager.
Trying to swim away, realizing he doesn't know how to swim. So he can't go any further. Oh, he's got 2, actually. He should totally build a town center on this gold. But he might be afraid of Nope's cavalry raids.
And Nope currently making a trap, or has a trap in the middle, and is shooting at the town center from Superhero. So the one safe area for Superhero to defend from all the scout raids will soon be gone. We also see the Chinese unique dragon ships, which are basically fast fire ships.
Oh, the dragon ships. I see them now.
And you can see that they melt through the dock here.
Yeah. Doing the Byzantines dirty.
Yes. And cannon galleons are out for Superhero, and it will be no more focus on land and all of the focus on water, at least for Superhero. Still no ballistics though for Superhero. That is something that he is really, I think, kind of necessary for water fights. But then again, so are docks, and current dock count for Superhero. 3 docks, one of which is actually completed.
Yeah. The dragon ships just tore those docks down like nothing. And does Superhero even have a university that he can get ballistics at? I'm not sure.
Currently, no. The one university that he had was taken out by the trap. So was his market. And the remaining villagers on his starting island will be killed off by the scouts, and it's looking better and better for Nope. But I think this was something that we said last game as well, so I would not be surprised if Superhero actually manages to pull something off and come back. But we will see what happens.
He's done it before. He's done it before.
And currently he is taking out castles with his cannon galleons. So definitely still finding value on the water.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
the downside of water is that you will need to have something on land to make it worth.
There's temptation to split up, you know, the fleets and have one fleet on one side of the island, one fleet on the other side of the island, so that you can get maximum value from them and, you know, use them to attack Nope if Nope advances on either side. But if he does that, then Nope will swoop in with his dragon ships and sink the fleets while they're divided. So he's kind of in an awkward position and not having any land military.
And also these fire ships are just so strong that you will, I think, need to have a lot of your water army at least there to protect it. And I think looking at the population currently, it's 180 pop for Nope and not even 120 for Superhero, as he's trying to engage with the dragon ships.
He needs the Carax forward. The Carax are just kind of loitering.
Yes.
Alright, there they go. They're going to engage.
And I think this might be Superhero's final stand here. I don't really see him having a lot of resources floating. At least not the ones that he needs. 0 on gold, 0 gold in the bank. While Nope, floating a casual 1000 gold, floating 1000 wood, floating 3000 food, 1000 stone. Pushing Superhero on land. And Superhero still holding on, but I think with the map position currently, I really don't see what Superhero's win condition is.
Yeah, he's just so starved of gold. He's having a hard time. Nope is pushing him on land. Nope is attriting him on water.
Yes, now we also have the loot chance out for the Chinese player. And these are kinda like the cannon galleons that also fire arrows at ships. So not just for sieging, but also for unit-to-unit combat. And Superhero calls the GG, so the series is going to be 1-1.
Yeah. Nope managing to tie it up with some impressive plays. Did a good job of expanding to all of the islands. And never hurt for resources the way that Superhero did. I think Nope did a little bit more of a clever job of keeping Superhero off of gold and it showed toward the end Superhero couldn't afford to make many of the units that he wanted to make. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Nope did a great job of defending and holding. And like earlier in the game, we were questioning what is it worth to keep this position in the middle. But as you can see, it is definitely worth it because Superhero is completely pushed off of the middle. The only thing that he has left there is the houses and some farms, but no villagers, no nothing there left to provide any value for him. And Nope still has the farm, still has the TC there to potentially create more villagers, chop some more wood, could potentially expand outwards, but still has the map control over 2 full islands as well. So yeah, I think Nope played this really well expanding wise, and I think Superhero was kind of caught off guard with the defense in the middle and not really able to have one island completely to himself. Not really knowing where to fight, when to fight, I think might have been the issue here for Superhero. But really, really well played still.
Let's take a look at the statistics.
Yes.
Look at this KD for Nope. Oof. What was all of that of Superheroes? Was that pikemen that he was killing? Was that villagers that he was killing? Was that surely that wouldn't have been ships?
I think it was just everything that he was killing.
Well, I guess that works. Everything. Nope, with 34 buildings razed, 8 buildings lost, largest army of 61. Economy-wise, Nope had more food, stone, and gold collected. Stone by a factor of 4. Superhero had way more wood collected, which makes sense because he was selling lots of it in order to get gold.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see the amount of stone collected reflected in the amount of castles that Nope was just able to drop all over the map. There was so many castles. We saw a castle, like the castle at home in the middle island. There was a castle on the right. There were 2 or 3 castles on the left-hand island. And I think that is kind of what decided the game as well. Just the castle drops.
Technology, Nope was faster to the feudal age, Superhero faster to the castle age, and did that castle age push that we saw on Nope in the central island. And Superhero faster to the imperial age. Nope explored more map and had more research than Superhero. Society stats, Plotter was explaining, Nope had a lot more castles, and he ended the game with 4 times as many castles as Superhero. He also captured 1 relic and got 433 relic gold. Villager high of 122. Well, any final comments about this game, Plotter?
No, not in particular. I think both players played it really well. Both different strats to begin with, but definitely I think both strats can be viable on this map. And I would love to see more from these players in the future, more from this map as well. I think it was a very interesting map to see how it played out.
Yeah, I agree. We really appreciate you joining us today, Plotter. I'm all out of sets to cast for now. Got some good conversation on my channel on YouTube, and hopefully there was an equally good engagement through your Twitch channel. Again, thank you for helping us get eyes on Alchemy League.
Yes.
A lot of effort and love goes into making Alchemy League possible, so we appreciate everybody that notices it and everybody that helps us out with it. So if you ever want to co-cast again in the future, just let me know. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yes, I will.
All right. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. So that was Plotter Ghost, co-casting with us from the Netherlands, and creating his own Twitch stream alongside ours. So if you want to see his point of view, go ahead and head on over there. Maybe I'll link it in the description a little bit later. So that is going to do it for me today. No more Alchemy League content for today, but hopefully sometime this next week or at the latest on Sunday, we'll have some more. So thank you guys so much. We're almost done with round one, or sorry, with sprint one of Alchemy League Season 10. The guys got to get their games in by Tuesday, and then we'll calculate the score. So this is just a break-in sprint to just make sure that everybody is here and willing to play. And we'll have higher stakes competitions in the coming weeks. So thank you guys so much, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.